means figurative language. So that's what we're going to talk about. All right, so question number 1 in your quiz, of course, we like to start with definitions. So the definition of figurative language is when you use a word or phrase that does not have its normal everyday literal meaning. Does not have its normal everyday literal meaning. Okay, so that's a fill in the blank in there, so just click does not. Okay. And if you have any questions as we go, please just let me know, because I like figurative language, but I can see how sometimes it's a little tough to wrap your brain around, and that's okay. We'll do our best. Okay, so words that do not have their normal everyday literal meaning. And sometimes figurative language can be tough for teenagers because teenagers tend to be more literal. That's just how the brain works and stuff. So we can talk about any type of these as long as you want, as long as we hopefully finish by Friday. So please let me know if there are any that are not quite clicking. Okay, so let's start with any type of figurative language that you have heard of before. So I have them all listed, and then there's a QR code underneath. So just click the ones that you have heard of before. And let's see if Engagely likes this slide. There we go. Awesome. And if you don't know any of them, I have a box for that too. So if you don't know any of them, click that box. So we got alliteration, onomatopoeia, pun, euphemism, idiom, oxymoron, soliloquy, and flashback. So that's what we're going to learn about this week. If you have heard of them before, just click the one. All right. So I'm going to share this so you guys can see the results on the board. So nobody's clicked oxymoron. So that tells me that I might have to spend a little bit more time on oxymoron because nobody's clicked it. Nobody has heard of it before. Okay, we got someone clicking it now. That's fine. And if
I'm kind of an oxymoron myself.
If I have to spend a little bit more time on any of these, that's perfectly fine. Okay. All right. So alliteration, onomatopoeia, you guys have heard of. Flashback, pun, you guys have kind of heard of. Okay. Fantastic. So this is just helpful for me to see where you guys are at. Thank you. All right. So let's take a look at a video. And in this video, they're going to talk about alliteration, onomatopoeia, imagery, and irony, but I'm not going to test you on imagery and irony. Okay. But this was a really good video. So we're going to watch it. So let me grab that link and so let's go back to our lesson. There we go. Hopefully that video helped a little bit. So let's talk about each different type of figurative language. So let me activate this so you guys can click the button once you have completed this question in your quiz. Alliteration, the occurrence of the same sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. And like they said in the video, it's the same sound, not necessarily the same letter, because we have different letters that make, or we have same letters that make different sounds, different letters that make the same sounds, things like that. So it's the same sound. So it's helpful if you say the sentences or the phrases out loud when you're looking for alliteration. Okay. So for example, fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air. That's an example from Macbeth. So we're going to watch Macbeth later in this trimester. But this is an example of alliteration because it has that F sound, the f, fair, foul, foul, fair, fog, filthy. If you say them out loud, you can hear that they have the same sound. Okay. Same sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. All right, everybody make sure you are answering these questions because you want to do them now. If you wait, then you'll have to do it on your own, and that's no fun. Cassandra, Gloria, Isaiah, are you working on your quiz? Jeremiah, Kayla, Kevin, Lee, you guys working on your quiz? Liam, don't forget to click that button on the board. I know you're there. Thank you. Mateo, Michelle, Rajay, Thomas. All right. Fantastic. Okay, so now that we have heard some in the video, now that we have seen an example on the board, do more of you know what alliteration is? Have you heard of this before? Because a handful of people clicked it at the beginning. So give me a thumbs up if now you're like, oh yeah, I know what that is. You heard of it before? Seeing a couple thumbs up? More than 2 people clicked that button at the beginning. Where are you guys? Okay. There we go. We got more thumbs up coming. All right. So I like alliteration. My name is alliteration. Bobenius. That's alliteration. Okay. So let's practice. All right. So I'm going to give you guys whiteboard tools. And we are going to write our own examples on the board of alliteration. And I have an example on the board right now. My brothers bounced balls in the backyard. So I want you guys to use the first sound of either your first name or your last name, whichever one you want to work with is fine. And then you're going to write your own sentence on the board. You can use those Post-it notes. I really like the way the Post-it notes look on the board. So think of one of the sounds of your name. My name happens to be alliteration, so I only got one sound to choose from. So I have my brothers bounce balls in the backyard. So I got all those B sounds. So think of the first sound of your first name or the first sound of your last name, depending on which one you want to use. And think of words that start with that sound and then create a sentence. And I'm going to put a timer on the board, giving you guys 3 minutes to think about it. Put them on the board. And if you need help, let me know. We can brainstorm words that start with that sound. Let's get some examples on the board. All right, let's try different words, not having the same word 3 times. My dancing dog danced at the dance it's a lot of duh sounds, but it's also a lot of dance. So try and think of other words. Where did one disappear? Where'd it go? The big bad bear bumps into the boat. Okay. And remember, we're using the Post-it note tool, not the shape. The shape is like the second tool at the top, and that's just a filled in shape. The Post-it note tool is in the middle, and it has a folded over corner. So the Post-it note tool should be about there-ish in the tools. Not the one at the top, the one in the middle. I should just like screenshot these and like put them on my slides. I need a screenshot of this. There we go. I'm going to add that screenshot to my slides in the future. Okay. Okay, what else do we have? Katie kindly kicked the kite. Okay. Very good. Let's get some more examples. Did Dawn do... You can use the. It's okay to have the little words between the alliteration. Just like fair is foul and foul is fair. We had other words in there. So did Dawn do the darn dish dinner's done? I mean, it's a lot of does. But it's not quite a sentence. If you're writing a poem, you know, you can do what you want. Sally sold seashells by the seashore. Okay. Destiny digged, danced, and dabbed. Okay. Okay. So in your quiz, you will see some sentences. How many correct answers do we have in question number 3? No way with your name. We absolutely could do the M sound. What words start with the M sound? Let's brainstorm. Let's put some words in the chat box. We got mug. What else? Let's brainstorm. What other words start with that M sound? We got must. What else? I want everybody brainstorming. We got monsters up there too. Because Roger, I saw the Monsters Incorporated. There we go. Monster. Okay. What else? Milk. Mean. Okay. Meme. Okay. Made. Anyone thinking of a sentence that we could put together with these words? Mom. Okay. Let's put together a sentence. Let's see what we can do with the words that we have. That's not alliteration. The green eggs and ham is not alliteration. Alliteration is the beginning, same beginning sound. The I do not like green eggs and ham, I do not like them, Sam, I am, is repetition with the I do not like part. And some stuff rhymes, but it's not alliteration. Okay, so what kind of sentence can we make with the words in the chat box? My mom made a mean meme. Sure. That would work. Okay. So sometimes when you're trying to think of alliteration, just brainstorm words until a sentence forms. My mom made monster milk. Okay, that would work too. All right. Thumbs up. We did it. All right. Awesome. Okay. So if you would like a screenshot of these, you can absolutely take a screenshot in your notes. I love the notes. The notes in Engagely, it's pretty cool. So now's your chance if you want a screenshot of this. Anybody want a screenshot? All right, we're going to move on. Okay. All right. It'll be in the playback room too if you want to go to the playback room to get a screenshot, because your notes are also available in the playback rooms, just so you guys know. Okay, so now onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is a word that mimics the sound of an object or action it refers to. And I like to call these comic book words because we see them a lot in comic books. Okay, so things like splash, smack, crack, gulp, poof, boing, things like that. Those are onomatopoeia. So they're just sound words. And I hope you can remember that onomatopoeia is a sound word, because the word onomatopoeia just sounds like a bunch of sounds, right? It doesn't sound like an actual word. It just sounds like a bunch of sounds smushed together. Okay? So onomatopoeia is sound words. Okay? So click the definition of onomatopoeia in your quiz, and then we are going to, I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to do that. And then, yep, very good. My daughter loves Spider-Man. So I hear that sound all the time. We're going to practice onomatopoeia on the next slide. So click that definition for question number 4. Let's see, who hasn't done that? Anastasia, Cassandra, Isaiah, Gloria, Jeremiah, Lee. You guys working on your quiz? Liam, Mateo, Michelle, Thomas. All right. There we go. All right. So this slide, we have some words. There we go. We have some words. So I'm going to give you guys whiteboard tools. Let's write in the right-hand column the words that are associated with the words in the left column. Okay, the onomatopoeia words that are associated with those nouns. Okay, you guys have whiteboard tools. So what onomatopoeia sounds do these things make? Got flush for toilet. Okay. Wasn't looking for buzz for phone. I think that would go better with a different noun. Okay, we got oink for pig, ding dong for a bell. Okay. You didn't have to erase buzz. It goes with something on here. There we go. The bees buzz. The bees buzz. All right. Rooster's cock-a-doodle-doo. Hands clap. I can't see cow because my screen sharing thing is covering cow. Did you guys put cow in there? Thumbs up if you guys already put cow, because for some reason my screen sharing thing is covering it and I can't see it. I don't like that at all. All right, so cow says moo, phones ring, car horns beep. Is there another word that we could use for car horn? Take a look at your quiz. Honk. There we go. Honk. Sheeps go ba. Raindrops drip. Okay. Okay. All right. So, how you guys feeling about onomatopoeia? Feeling good? If you want to take a screenshot of this, you can. Awesome. Match them up in your quiz. I think if I try and activate this, I think the annotations are going to disappear because Engagely is weird. So do you guys have screenshots of this? Yes, no, maybe so. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Because I want to activate it so I can see who's done answering it. But I think the annotations are going to disappear. Okay. All right. Here we go. Oh, no, that was a timer tag. Okay. Okay, never mind. That was a timer tag. All right, hopefully you guys got that done. Does this make more sense? Not everyone clicked onomatopoeia at the beginning, so now you guys know what onomatopoeia is? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Yes? Okay. All right, awesome. Fantastic. All right, so let's try this sentence. Let's select the onomatopoeia in this sentence. Come on, Engagely. There we go. The teacher heard the distinct crunch of ruffled potato chips. So where is the onomatopoeia word in that sentence? Which word, I'm giving you guys 30 seconds, is onomatopoeia? The teacher heard the distinct crunch of ruffled potato chips. Are sound words. Okay, most of you got it. Crunch. Crunch is the sound word. Crunch is the onomatopoeia. And it kind of sounds like crunch, right? If you were to try and describe what that word means, crunch is, how do you describe it? That the word crunch kind of sounds like what you're talking about. Okay. I think I have onomatopoeia a little bit. Okay. So we're going to practice onomatopoeia from yesterday before we move on to puns real quick. We can do this. A little review yesterday. So select the onomatopoeia in this sentence. If you're going to cough, please cover your mouth. If you're going to cough, please cover your mouth. Let's get a timer up on the board. There we go. Where's the onomatopoeia word? If you're going to cough, please cover your mouth. Remember, onomatopoeia are sound words. So those are words that sound like whatever we're referring to. All right, way too many of you not doing anything this morning. Stand up and shake it off. What's happening? Rajay, Michelle, Liam, Lee, Brian, Christopher, Jeremiah, Jasleen. What's happening? Way too many people sitting there doing nothing. Don't wait for me to call your name. Just do it. All right. Most of you got it. Cough. Cough is the sound word. Going to is not a sound word. That's a verb. And your mouth, not a sound word. That's where sound comes from, but that's not the sound word. So we're looking for the actual word that sounds like what we're referring to, and that's cough. Say cough out loud. I know I can't hear you, but I'm going to trust that you're doing it. Say cough out loud. It sounds like what that sound is when you cough. Kind of. Okay? So that's what onomatopoeia is. All right. So let's see. I got another one. Let's try another one. We can do this. Come on, Engagely. Let me activate it. Got to give Engagely a little encouragement. There we go. Vince gulped down the Mountain Dew. Vince gulped down the Mountain Dew. And I should give you a timer. I gotta remember those timers. There we go. Unfortunately, I can't have more than one kind of QR tag on the slides at a time. Otherwise, I would also put a timer tag on the slide. But I can't because I have the multiple choice tag on there. All right, I see 9 responses again. 9 of you are very consistent and very quick with your answers, and I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Grace, Jeremiah, Lee, Lay, Liam, Michelle, Rajay. Let's get an answer on the board. Looking for onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia are sound words. Okay, some of you, I don't know what's happening. Please ask questions if you're not sure, or tell me that you're not sure. Gulped is the sound word. Vince gulped. Say gulped out loud. And I'm going to give you a second. I'm going to trust that you're doing it. Gulped. It sounds like what it's referring to. Down is a direction. That's not a sound. Mountain, not a sound. Okay? Gulped. All right. Can't read your minds, unfortunately. How about this one? It's a good thing we have some practice sentences here, because I think some of you need the practice. The cat will keep meowing until you pet it. The cat will keep meowing until you pet it. Where is the onomatopoeia? The sound word. Okay, so again, we're looking for the sound word. Meowing is the sound word. Remember when we did the slide yesterday and we talked about all the sounds that those different animals make, like cows moo, pigs oink, roosters cock-a-doodle-doo, right? Cats meow. And that's what it sounds like when they're actually making that sound. So say meow out loud. It's a sound. It's the word and it's the sound. All right. Okay. I think this is the last one. Nope, I was wrong. We got another one. My goodness. I think this is the last one. I just anticipated we needed lots of practice. And that's okay. It's good to practice. Okay. He took off so quickly that his tires screeched. He took off so quickly that his tires screeched. Oh, come on, Engagedly. Seriously? Okay. Let's try that again. All right. Let's try that again real quick. I don't know what's going on with Engagedly lately. It was doing that yesterday too. So whoever answered before, please answer again real quick. I won't set another timer. He took off so quickly that his tires screeched. All right, most of you got it. Screeched is that sound word. So quickly is not a sound. Okay, things can happen so quickly. We can hear something so quickly, but it's not a sound. Screeched is the sound. Okay. All right. I'm a little worried about a couple of you because you're not asking any questions. Okay, so we're gonna move on to pun. Hopefully we'll get to euphemism, idiom, maybe oxymoron. I don't have a fun video for these. I've been looking for a really good one and haven't been able to find one yet. One of these days I will. But the girls who did the video we watched yesterday didn't make a video about puns and euphemisms and idioms and oxymorons, unfortunately. I wish they did. If I could get a hold of them, I would ask them to. They made that video a long time ago, though, so who knows what they're doing now. Okay, so let's talk about puns. And I'm going to activate this so you guys can click the button on the board. And hopefully Engagely doesn't act weird with the polling tools. So a pun is a joke exploiting the different possible meanings of a word or the fact that there are words which sound alike but have different meanings. And we have seen puns all over the place. Memes make really good puns. Okay. So a lot of times the text in memes are puns. So for example, we have a couple examples on the board. On the left-hand side, we have some mint chocolate chip ice cream in cones, and they're holding hands, and they got a little heart between them. It's so cute, and it says, "We are meant to be." So the word mint sounds like the word meant, and I'm going to put it in the chat box. We are meant to be. I spell meant. Meant to be. Okay. Now you want mint ice cream. I don't like mint ice cream. Mint and chocolate to me don't go well together. Some people like it. My brother loves it. And for some reason, I don't like the chocolate with the mint. I don't know what it is. But I know York peppermint patties are super popular. My mom likes those too. So some people like them. A lot of people like them. So I'm probably just weird. So you don't either?
I don't
Okay.
blame you at all. I'm not really a mint chocolate person either.
Okay, so I'm not the only one. All right. Okay. Almost everyone in my family likes mint chocolate chip ice cream, so then they make me feel like I'm the weirdo. So okay.
Oh, no
So
worries. You're not the only one that
all right. Thank you.
anymore.
I appreciate that. Okay. So then on the right-hand side, on the pink side, we have she believed she could, sushi did. So we have a little sushi roll there, dressed in a skirt and some fairy wings and stuff. She looks really awesome. And that sounds like so she did. She believed she could, so she did. Okay. So you guys see how it sounds like one thing, but we got the pictures of the other thing that it sounds like. So it's kind of cute. It's kind of funny. You kind of chuckle at puns, right? And the thing about puns is once you explain them, they're not funny anymore. So the point of puns are to just get a quick little chuckle. Okay? You guys like puns? Thumbs up, thumbs down if you like puns. Got a thumbs up, another thumbs up. Okay, I love puns. I think they're hilarious. And I just happened to be wearing a shirt with a pun on it, and it says right on. Okay. Have you guys ever heard that phrase right on, as in RIGHT, right on, like awesome, right on? Yeah. This is right on, as in writing. so, so I love shirts with puns. I got a lot of them. So I think my husband is annoyed with all my punny shirts. He thinks I have too many t-shirts, but I don't care. So I think they're hilarious. Okay, so hopefully you guys got that. It's a multiple, or it is a multi-select question with fill in the blanks in your quiz. So now on the next few slides, I have some practice. We're going to practice identifying the puns. So what I have done is I have scoured the internet for memes. Some of the memes have puns, some of the memes do not. So your job is to identify the puns. You guys ready? Thumbs up if you're ready. Yes. Okay. All right. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm going to activate the QR tags. You will select the puns. Okay. So read the memes and then select the ones that have a pun in them. And hopefully you guys can read them okay. Because I could only make them so big on the slide. Excuse me. My goodness. Okay. And I'm going to give you guys a timer. And I can read them if that will help. So the dog one, pointing at the screen, says, "Who's awesome? You're awesome." And the next one, the little girl running, I think she has a popsicle in her hand. Does she? I see this little girl in lots of memes. Does she have a popsicle in her hand? And she says, "When your phone is on 1%. And then the middle one says, "I know it's cheesy, but I feel great."
So it looks more like one of those like frozen otter pop things, you know?
Yeah, one of
That's what
those
I'm thinking it
things.
is.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Popsicle's not the right word, but you're right. Otter pop. Okay. And then the rock one says, "When somebody adds another plate to the sink while I'm washing the dishes." And then the last one says, "Check out these Ray-Bans." All right, let's see. So I'm going to lock that. So most of you picked the middle one. That was a pretty easy one to spot, right? I know it's cheesy, but I feel great. We got a cheese grater on there. And when you say "I feel great," it's the GREAT, great. But this kind of great, GRATE, is the kind of grate where you grate the cheese, right? So it's a pun, right? It's a joke exploiting the fact that there are words that sound the same but mean different things. Okay. And then the next one, most of you got it. Check out these Ray-Bans, and he's holding stingrays to his eyes. You kind of have to know what stingrays are or what they look like to get that joke. And Ray-Bans are a kind of sunglasses, right? So you get a little chuckle. And again, when you have to explain it, they kind of stop being funny, but that's okay. So there are 2 puns on this slide. Good job. And you'll see some of these in your quiz. And in your quiz, you just have to select whether it's a pun or just a funny meme. Okay, so let's try the next slide. Stop that poll. And let's try the next one. All right, there we go. And I'll read them to you again. Our first one says, "Animal puns, 2 can play that game." And then another shark one, it's very small. Hopefully you guys can read it. Your eyes are better than mine, probably. "I think it'll be okay as long as we don't eat the buns." And the shark is reading a keto cookbook. And then we got, "What is love? Baby, don't hurt me." And if you could at least pretend to work from home, that would be great. So which ones are puns? All right. So toucan. That one I think was probably the easiest. It sounds like two can, but the bird is also a toucan. You got those 4 of you who picked the shark one. You're right. He's reading a keto cookbook. I don't know if you guys know about keto. That it's something about stay away from bread kind of thing. I don't know. Um, I've never been on a keto diet, so I don't know. But it's something to do with bread. So he's saying as long as we stay away from the buns, it'll be okay. But he's not talking about bread. He's talking about this guy's buns. And then our sheep here, "What is love? Baby, don't hurt me." Have you guys ever heard that song? "Baby, don't hurt me." It was a
I believe anyone in here who knows those memes would probably agree on yes.
I hope so, because it was a very popular Saturday Night Live skit. back in the day. And I love that song. So if you have not heard that song or have not seen the Saturday Night Live skit, it's hilarious. Back when Saturday Night Live was funny. So, all right. And the last one, just a funny meme. Okay. Good job. All right. And I don't remember if I have 3 or 4 slides. So we'll see. So we got a few more. Let's activate these. Come on, Engagely. You can do it. All right, Engagely. So the first one, the face you make when you hit a pothole. Next one, I built this with my bare hands. Third one, when your roommate ate the last Oreo. And I don't remember if it was this class or another class saying who's Leonardo DiCaprio? This guy is Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't remember if it was this class or another one. And then the last
The
one, I don't
Oreo
think
one
that,
is relatable for me.
Yeah. The last one, I don't think that memes what you think it memes. And this comes from one of my favorite movies, The Princess Bride. Mandy Patinkin is fantastic. Oh, that was you? Okay. This guy is Leonardo DiCaprio. Not a fantastic picture of him. But I built this with my bare hands. Bear in this meme is spelled B-E-A-R, meaning the animal. But when you build something with your bare hands, it's B-A-R-E. So, a pun. Leo's just a funny meme. And Mandy Patinkin from The Princess Bride, I don't think that memes what you think it means. One of his most famous lines in The Princess Bride, I don't think that means what you think it means. Love that movie. Okay. The other two, just funny memes. Okay. So let's see if I have any more because I don't remember. Oh, I do. Okay. This is definitely the last one then. Come on, Engagely. All right. So the first one, it says, "What happened to you?" And he says, "I got fired." And another shark one. When I was making these, I didn't realize how many shark memes there are. And he says, "Do not consume if seal is broken." And then we got a couple Tom Hanks one, accidentally turning on the webcam during a conference call. And teachers counting down the days like these two Tom Hanks ones are relatable for me.
Same.
All right. I see 8 responses. Come on, everybody. Find those puns. And another thing with puns, it helps if you know how to spell. Because I know some of the words, they sound the same but mean different things, and they're also spelled slightly differently. And if you didn't know that there were different spellings, then the pun could just go over your head, and that's okay. You know, not everybody knows how to spell everything. I don't know all the words that are out there, so I'm sure some puns have gone over my head too. All right. So let's see. We got most of you. All right. So the first one is a pun because these are bullets. So it's a joke about getting fired. He has a briefcase. So fired can mean 2 different things, right? And then our shark one also pun. Do not consume if seal is broken. Have you guys ever seen that on like yogurt or something? Don't eat if seal is broken. So the seal on the yogurt or whatever, if it's open, don't eat it because it could have bacteria. But this animal is a seal. So he's like, "You can't eat me. I'm broken." I love these. The other two, just funny memes. Okay. Was that helpful? Hopefully. To illustrate what puns are? Yes? Okay, cool. Good. And hopefully you guys will recognize puns in other memes that you see out in the wild. Okay, so next is euphemism. So euphemism is A mild or indirect word. Come on, Engagely. Activate that tag. There we go. A mild or indirect word or expression substituted for one considered to be too harsh or blunt when referring to something unpleasant or embarrassing. So, a simpler way to say that is this is a nicer way of saying something. Okay. Have you guys ever heard the expression to beat around the bush? Some of you have. Okay. So when you beat around the bush, you're not being direct with somebody. You're kind of skirting the issue to say things in a nicer way. Right? Because we don't want to be mean, we don't want to be harsh, we don't want to be blunt. So we use euphemisms to sound nicer. Okay? So in this example, instead of saying you're fired, because that's what the boss guy is thinking, you're fired, he says, I'm letting you go. So that's a nicer way of saying it. And we do this all the time, right? We say a less harsh phrase because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings or we don't want to talk about something unpleasant or embarrassing. Okay. All right. So 12 of you have clicked. All right. So let's take a look at some examples. So, you may have heard some of these euphemisms before. So what's on the board now are euphemisms. These are the nicer ways of saying things. So on the right, we're going to say what it really means. Okay? So I'm going to annotate the screen, or I'm going to give you guys whiteboard tools. There we go. And let's put a timer up on the board. Okay, so these are euphemisms. What do they really mean? All right, between jobs means unemployed. Yeah. Okay, spin the truth means to lie about something. Yeah. You guys don't have to go from the top to bottom. Anybody can pick any of them and just fill it in. All right, running behind means they're late. Correctional facility is prison. Yep. Broke wind does mean farted. And that's a good one to illustrate euphemisms because a lot of people don't like to say the word fart because when they were like 12, they thought the word fart was hilarious. So they say other things, broke wind or something, cut the cheese. My dad always said, step on a frog because he's from the South. So he has all kinds of weird euphemisms. All right, vertically challenged is short. Bun in the oven does mean pregnant. Powder your nose does mean use the bathroom. Good job. That's usually one that people haven't heard of. So good job. Where did the bun in the oven one go?
Bun in the oven's crazy.
I know. We got weird euphemisms, and there's so many more. I couldn't possibly put all the euphemisms that we ever use on the board. There wouldn't be any room. All right. Negative cash flow does mean broke. Yep. Got a couple more. And where did the bun in the oven one go? It got deleted somehow. Somebody put that back up on the board. There we go. All right. So we need on the streets and over the hill. And unemployed disappeared too. What is happening? All right. On the streets means homeless. How about over the hill? Have you guys ever heard that before? Over the hill? You have? Okay. What's it mean? Got a thumbs down now. So some people have never heard of that one. That's okay. This is usually one that people haven't heard of too. I'll give you a hint. If you're walking through like don't wait till it usually. I don't know if you guys can hear me when that dinging is going on. Can you? Tell me. No? Okay.
I
So
can
I
hear
will.
you.
You could? Okay. Some people can't, some
Yeah.
people can. I will remember that and just not say anything while the dinging is happening when I have a timer. So, if you're walking through like Target or something and you go to the card aisle, you will see cards that say over the hill. So why would you give somebody a card that says over the hill? Let me think. What kind of cards are usually in the card aisle? Anybody? Take a guess. When's the last time you bought somebody a card? Okay, well give me reasons why anyone would give anybody a card. Most popular reason. Birthday. There we go. Yeah, for a birthday. So why would you give somebody an over the hill
Or the
card,
holidays too.
or the holidays too? But why would you give somebody an over the hill card for their birthday? What would that mean? If someone is over the hill. No guesses? Nope, they're not ecstatic. That'd be over the moon. We got lots of weird um euphemisms. I'm gonna tell you. It means old. So you give someone an over the hill birthday card to joke with them that they're getting old. Isn't that crazy? I love euphemisms. Okay, good job. So you will see some of them on your quiz. So match that up. Never heard of it. Next time you're in a store that has a card aisle, look at the birthday ones and see if you can find an over the hill one. Okay, they're funny. Okay. Good job. Okay, so we have a few minutes left. We can do idioms. And I don't want you guys to get euphemisms and idioms confused. Okay. So remember, euphemisms are a nicer way of saying something. Idioms are a phrase or expression whose meaning can't be understood from the ordinary meanings of the words in it. Okay. So, for example, in a nutshell is an example of an idiom. And I'm going to give you guys a hint for how to maybe remember what this means. What other word looks like idiom or starts with a few of the same letters as idiom? What's the first word that comes to your mind when you see those? There we go. Idiot. Yep. Absolutely. So if you think of the word idiot when you think of the word idiom, hopefully that will help you help you remember that the meaning of idioms cannot be understood from the ordinary meaning of the words in the phrase. Okay, that always helped me remember it when I was younger. So in this example, it says it's a complicated story, but in a nutshell, my husband got a new job and we're moving to Greece next month. So in a nutshell, have you guys heard of this phrase before? In a nutshell? We got some thumbs up. Okay. Got some no's. That's okay too. So in a nutshell just means long story short, or a brief short summary of something. Okay, so you're not getting all the details, just real quick, this is what's happening. So that's what that means. I don't know why we say in a nutshell, but we do. So if you Google nutshell, or if you look in the dictionary for the definition of nutshell, you're not going to get a brief short summary of something. You're going to get the hard outer covering of a nut. Right? So the definition of nutshell is not going to help you understand that idiom. The thing with idioms is if they are translated into a different language, it's almost impossible to figure out what they mean, because the meaning can't be understood from the meaning of the words in it. So foreign idioms are the most difficult to understand. We understand idioms in our own language. Whatever your first language is, you probably understand idioms in that language. Mine is English, so I'm very familiar with English idioms. Don't even really think about them most of the time because I've heard them so much. So what I'm going to do is I am going to share with you a German idiom that I know, and I'm going to tell it to you in German. Then I'm going to translate it to English, and then I'm going to ask you to tell me what you think it means. Okay, I don't want anyone to look it up or anything. I just want you to try and figure it out based on the words in it. Okay? Good? Sound good? You guys ready? Thumbs up? Okay. So the German idiom is Tomaten auf den Augen haben. Tomaten auf den Augen haben. So what that translates to is you have tomatoes on your eyes. I'm going to put that in the chat box. You have tomatoes on your eyes. So what do you think that means? Just take a guess. Have fun with it. It doesn't matter if you're right, because it's just a fun activity. What do you think that could mean? You look tired? Okay. That would make sense. What else? What do you guys think? Your eyes are red? Okay. What else? What else could it possibly mean? It's tough, right? Because you can't, there's no clues in the words. Yeah. You've heard it before? Awesome. From me? Or somewhere else? It means you're oblivious to what's going on around you. So everybody else can see something that you can't. And you can use it in a few different situations. My favorite example is, let's say you have a friend, and this friend has a boyfriend and he's super toxic, and everybody knows that he's cheating on her. Everybody can see it. Everybody sees the red flags waving, but she can't see it, right? She can't see what's going on. So you can say, girl, you have tomatoes on your eyes. So that's one situation where you could use it. I think it's the funniest idiom ever. And it's probably just because German is not my first language. So, because I don't really think English idioms are funny, but I do think the German ones are. So, all right. So that was just a fun example to kind of give you guys an idea. All right. So now we got some idioms that we use in English on the board. And just like we did with the euphemisms, I want you guys to tell me what these mean. And you may have seen these before. You may have heard these before. Some of them you may not have. And that's okay. All right. Excuse me. Let's get a timer on the board. Let's see if we can get this done. Okay, under the weather does mean sick. Yep. Piece of cake, easy. Balls in your court, it's your decision. Yep. Break a leg means good luck. Spill the beans, tell the news. Yeah, usually we hear spill the tea nowadays, right? Same thing. On the fence, thinking about it. Yeah, you have a decision to make. You're not sure which way to decide, so you're on the fence through thick and thin. Yeah, you're loyal no matter what. Pulling someone's leg, joking. Okay. And if anyone wrote anything for come rain or shine, I can't see it because my sharing the screen thing covers up that tiny little bottom section. So if you move it closer to where it says come rain or shine, I will be able to see it. I don't know if anybody wrote anything in there because I can't see it. Or you can tell me in the chat box. Let me move this over so I can see it. Yeah, no matter the circumstances. Okay, so through thick and thin and come rain or shine can be similar, but through thick and thin means I'm with you no matter what. No matter what happens between us, we're loyal to each other no matter what. Okay? Come rain or shine means it's going to get done no matter what. Okay? Like the post office used to have come rain or shine, and I'm just moving this so I can see it. The post office used to have a motto that they would deliver the mail come rain or shine. So they're going to deliver it no matter the circumstances. Okay? So no matter what happens, it's going to get done. Okay? Alrighty. You'll see a couple of these in your quiz, so match those up. You guys did a fantastic job with these. Have you guys heard of most of these before? Yeah? Right. Very good. And we did it within the time limit. Awesome. Good job. Okay. So let's stop that and let's see. Okay. Oxymorons. Oxymorons. So oxymorons are when there's a phrase made up of two or more words that have opposite meanings. Opposite meanings. You've probably heard these before. You probably don't even think about them. Right? You understand what they are. Don't even think that there's some kind of figurative language. Right? So this image here, this little graphic, I thought it was funny. It says at the Oxymoron Museum. So every room is a different oxymoron. So let me look at some of my favorites here. Let's see. Silent alarm. I like silent alarm. So it's got two words and they have opposite meanings. Silent means no noise. Alarm means big noise. Right? We don't even think about that. That it's a type of figurative language, right? Have you guys heard that before? Silent alarm? Banks usually have a silent alarm. They can push a button and it notifies the authorities if there's a robbery or something. Because you don't want a huge alarm if you're getting robbed, because that could be dangerous. Let's see, what else? Virtual reality. That's another one of my favorites on the right-hand side. Virtual reality. You guys have heard that before, right? Yes, no, maybe so. Yeah, because we're all on computers all the time, right? So virtual means not in reality, and reality means in reality. So they're opposite meanings. Um, but all of these are oxymorons, and you've probably seen them out in the world too. If you've ever gone grocery shopping and you go down the frozen food aisle, you might see some jumbo shrimp. That's an oxymoron because jumbo means big, shrimp means small. Okay. All right. We all good? I see 14 of you have clicked that button. Everybody click that button. Okay. So now, of course, I have an activity. So what we're going to do is we're going to create oxymorons by drawing a line from a word in the purple column to a word in the green column. Okay. So they should have opposite meanings. And you've probably heard these before as well. And you'll see some of these in your quiz too. There we go. You guys have whiteboard tools. Let's see what you got. All right, I think we got them all. All right, it's a little messy, but that's okay. So let me get out my highlighter here. So we got deafening silence. We got silent scream. We got bitter sweet. We got exact estimate. We got virtual reality, which we saw on the other slide. And last but not least, we have pretty ugly. All right. Have you guys heard these before? Yeah. Are there any you haven't heard before? Nope. Awesome. Okay. Very cool. Okay, I got to keep an eye on the time. 9:40 is when we're done today. Okay, so now soliloquy. I don't have a fun activity for this one, unfortunately. But soliloquy is an act of speaking one's thoughts aloud when by oneself or regardless of any hearers, especially by a character in a play. So you will see soliloquies when we get to Macbeth. So you will see Macbeth especially, but Lady Macbeth will also have soliloquies. There will be a character on stage speaking their thoughts out loud so the audience can hear them. Because it's a play and the audience only gets the information that is shared on stage, they need to use the soliloquy, speaking their thoughts out loud, so the audience knows what's going on. Okay, so you'll see that a lot in Macbeth when we get there. Okay, so for this one, no fun activities, just get the definition, know that it's a character speaking their thoughts out loud. Okay, character in a play speaking their thoughts out loud. And flashback is when in a work of fiction, an author and I guess it could be in nonfiction too, but nonfiction doesn't tend to be written that way, but mostly in a work of fiction, an author can take the reader out of the present story and jump into an earlier time period in a character's life. So this is called flashback. This is not time travel. Okay? Flashbacks are not time travel. It's a memory. Okay? Is that clear? Because I've had questions about that in the past. So I just want to make sure that's clear. If there's actual time travel in the story, it's not a flashback. Okay? A flashback is just taking the reader out of the present story, jumping to an earlier time period in a character's memory. I really should change that to memory, maybe. Maybe that would help. Okay? So, answer that question for that definition. Okay, so let's do a true false question. So a flashback adds tension and helps advance the plot. Is that true or false? It's not a trick question. All the information you need is on the board. All right, most of you got it. It is true. Flashbacks do add tension and help advance the plot. Okay? If we didn't have the flashback, then we would have had the information chronologically and there'd be no tension. Okay. So that is true. All right, let's see how much we can get done. Oh, I already watched that video. Okay. I forgot I had a slide in there for that. Okay, mood is next. Mood, the emotions or feelings that are conveyed in a literary work. So answer that question in your quiz. Definition of mood. There we go. Come on, Engagely. So mood are the emotions or feelings that are conveyed in a literary work. And this is how you feel when you're reading. Okay, so it's all about the emotions or feelings that you feel from this literary work. All right, emotions or feelings. Emotions or okay, come on, Engagely. Last question. Poets set the mood and evoke emotion with the words and language they use. True or false? This is the last question in your in-class questions. Poets set the mood and evoke emotion with the words and languages they use. True or false? Everybody, quickly. All right, we gotta go. It is true. It is true. Okay,